I need to say this, man. Y'all back, Aries Lounge, with an extra episode. It's been such a busy week, and normally I would drag Pill in here, but Pill is definitely working double overtime, which I'm jealous of because he's working the hours that I would like to work because a nigga ain't working. So anyway, I had to call in one of the homies. I put a SOS out in the sky. I put up the bat sign, and of course, you know what I'm saying? Well, no, I'm gonna say of course because I don't think I've ever had you on my show before.
You haven't.
And that I feel depressed about. But I'm happy as hell. Catalina Byrd has come and sat down and jumped on the show with me so that we could talk about Kanye. A Kanye conversation. However, I feel like this conversation, for those who think that I'm about to sit here and argue about Kim Kardashian and all that and Drake versus, I think that is such the waste of conversation when you are talking about this phenomenal discussion that happened between one of the podcasts that I love the most, that I feel like has done. I feel like as a person that's been a huge fan of the Combat Jack show and what the Combat Jack show did for hip hop, as far as bringing in some of the greats of hip hop and allowing them a platform in long form to have conversations about their history and how they came along. To me, the Drink Champs has done that to the utmost level, even going into the nuances of like Queens rappers and all of the independent artists, the Natures and the you know, this and that and the third. I think it was so beautiful, you know, and to have him Diddy and da 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 da. So
and even more so, like just the fact that Nori respects the craft of journalism. You know what I mean? Like he not a rapper talking to other rappers. He done researched, even when they his friends. He went back and did the due diligence. He's showing. Him and EFN showing so much respect to the craft.
That's a fact.
You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
That's the other part of it. They not just talking to their friends about what they remember and cracking jokes and smoking and drinking on camera. Nah, this man is researching.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? He coming back and asking you questions about stuff you forgot you did.
Exactly. And he's got a strategy. The alcohol is a part of the strategy. Like
brilliant.
The way it is so brilliant the way they have really developed that show throughout the years. And like you said, all of the research, all of the callbacks to other interviews, and okay, well, such and such said this here and we want to bring this in. How do you feel about it? How does that make you feel? Or like all of those things I felt are phenomenal. So you've got that. And then you've got probably, you know, one of the most polarizing human beings on the earth from the last 20 years, Kanye West, whom, you know, I had to really think about this, has not sat down with a black podcast ever. He's never been on any of the podcasts except for Joe Rogan. That's why I said black, because he's been on Joe Rogan. And
but the question is, would they have had him?
Yeah.
Nah.
Joe Budden would have had him in a lickety split second. You know what I mean? You feel like let's see, Rap Radar, they would have loved to sit down with him. You know what I mean? And I don't even feel like they would be judgmental or, you know what I mean, in a certain space at all. I feel like as journalists, they would have been. I
feel like they'd have sat down with him, similar to how Nori did after or before he was running, or after or before the Red Hat. But when you get to a certain level of polarization, proximity to you makes the other person a target too. And he spoke on that in the interview,
which is like, a part of what we're going to talk about today.
How people be talking about they want to go as hard as he can, but they scared. They're not multi-talented. If they get canceled, they can only act.
That's a fact.
They can only be comedians.
Yeah.
And they ain't got another bag to go get.
Right.
And then he owns that in his presence. Like, he's like, I understand. So I'm not hurt that you ain't had me on.
Right.
But acknowledge why you ain't had me on.
Respect.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay. That's deep. Yep. So from that perspective, to see the two of them together, I never thought about that. I honestly, what you just said, I didn't think about. And for me as a struggling journalist myself or a podcaster, I look at Ye as, I don't care what his situation is, bro. Like,
yeah, because it's going to get you to stream.
Exactly.
But to the people he talking to and that's in the world he's in, it's not a benefit for them.
Right.
It's a liability.
Facts.
Is what's going to come out my mouth worth you risking your everything? Because I'm going to be over here talking my thing anyway. And it's cool, and we gonna be cool off camera, and we know what it is, and we'll text each other. But you ain't gotta put yourself on the chopping block for me for that.
And okay, I definitely feel where you coming from. I'm gonna add to it is that by having Ye on, it puts you in a certain light. But Nori is never gonna be. It's people are not gonna look at Nori and be like, is he really a Republican? You know what I mean? Right. Is he trying to say something by having Ye on?
Ain't nobody looking at Drink Champs like it's NPR.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't care who Nori talked to.
Right.
Because he's still just a rapper in their mind, like Ye was saying.
And that's something I can't wait to talk about.
They not looking at the respect he's brought to journalism and the way that he approaches his craft and the way that his professional. They not looking at none of that.
That's a fact.
He can go talk to Nori because to them, Nori just another nigga.
That's a fact. And you dropped the N-word, my nigga. I love it, man. Where you been at all my life, Catalina? Where you been at, man? God, I keep forgetting. You know how when you don't be around somebody for a while, and then as soon as you get around them, you be like, that's the reason why I like this mom. God damn. Like, God. I know I love certain people. We don't see each other all the time. But it's so great when you do get around them, and it's that refreshing. Yes, this is it. So anyway, Kanye comes on. He's wearing gloves. He's got I don't think he has. If he does have designers on, I can't make him out. You know what I mean? He's got his superstar sunglasses on, and he has a very complex haircut. That's how I'm going to define it. It's something that I don't understand.
It's living art.
It's living art. Too gangster. Actually, I'm gonna call my nephew right after this because he's a barber. Like, yo, call it living art, bro. This is how you get that extra bag. Price going up, son. Price goes up. So, all right. So, what did you off the visual? What did you see? You know, from his body language, from just the visual of him. What? How did you feel about that?
That he's happy and healthy and clear.
That's a fact.
When he's on his meds, he's a little bit heavier usually. I saw a lot of self-discipline, even in what people thought were rants where he brought himself and reined himself back in to make sure that he finished the point instead of going to the next one, because sometimes he'll do that, right? And just leave us to figure out what the rest of the point was on our own. That's a thing. It happens to the best of us. And he was smiling, and he was comfortable where he was. You could feel that he felt like he was in a safe space. Right. And so when you care about a person, whether you know them in real life or not, that's what you want for their spirit. Right. This man been through a lot, and still his mindset is on how to make all of us equal and all of us better, even though it be us shooting at him and trying to take his ego out, and try to make him sound crazy and less than. And he still get up and trying to build a better world for all of us, not just him. His kid's straight.
That's a fact.
He don't have to care about mine. He don't have to care about her self-esteem and what she exposed to and what TikTok is doing to her. He don't have to speak on that. He could just raise his kids. Whole lot of black leaders did that. They live out PG County, act like they not one generation from Baltimore because they in $1 million house.
What was that? Yeah, that was shots fired. Go ahead. That was fun. I love that.
But it's real.
Oh, no, it's a fact.
They not coming back down to 95.
That's a fact. These are discussions I just had this week, and I have almost every week. It's like, yo, niggas be like, how do we fix Baltimore? Stay your ass here and work in the community that you're in. Right.
Stop running.
Take your smart ass right to the neighborhood and teach people that don't have the knowledge you have. Like, crazy. Doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, so that's when I first saw him, that's what I saw. Happy, healthy, and comfortable.
Awesome. For me, I would say the same exact thing. I even saw, like, when you forget how close certain industry people are and how small the industry is, and like seeing them together when I first came, I had to go, oh yeah, I forgot Nori's around Rockefeller all the time, so of course there's going to be a relationship there, and all right, this makes complete sense. But the other part was the fact that he made a statement, Nori made a statement about, well, you were saying you didn't need security, but I made sure security was here because I want to make sure you're safe. I was like, that's the type, and that the giving the flowers, the physical giving of the flowers, the emotional giving of the flowers, the thing that Nori has become most known for, to me, for somebody whom has had a rough time over the last 2 years, to me that felt so much more necessary in the moment. Like, yes, Kanye, like, we all may disagree about different issues or whatever, but you should be appreciated for your contributions to humanity, not just from an artistic standpoint, but from a humanitarian standpoint.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Just from being a black man to do something else besides be negative? Your whole career has been about speaking on issues. It's never been about guns and drugs and murder. From first album, it's College Dropout. We are talking about a black man's experience trying to navigate a world that he was not meant to be a part of. Right. So, like, just even thinking about that.
And we understood that when he was explaining it in the lexicon of it being college. Mm-hmm. We stopped understanding that, and his feelings and thoughts never changed, but we stopped understanding that when it grew beyond college, and the paradigm now is, I don't even belong in this construct.
Right. Well, the reason why that is because the majority of us, and I'm only going to speak about the black community, don't understand the world of entrepreneurship, don't understand the world of greater business, you know what I mean? Because there's a part where it's just not being an entrepreneur. He stepped out of being an entrepreneur. You are just a business. You're a mogul of types, you know what I mean? You're an industry leader. So when he is in a world where he is in rooms and having conversations that we don't even have any idea of, like, you know, making a decision that changes the industry, or like him saying, hey, I need to have my own storefront with my own polls, meaning that, hey, you need to give me a store and let me pick out the products that you create that I like and let me put it in the store so that you can make billions.
Right.
Because I'm just good at this.
I'm good at this.
You know what I mean?
And because, and it's like one of my favorite lines of Kanye's, my presence is a present.
That's a fact.
The fact that, you know, if you walk through the door of this particular Balenciaga store, right, that everything here is something I know for a fact Kanye West knows exists. He likes it. He might wear it. Like, that added to the value beyond it just being Balenciaga. Just because he said, you know, this is what I picked out. He might not even really pick it. Now, knowing the fanaticism of his attention to detail and truth, he really won't pick the stuff that go in that storefront.
Correct.
But even if he didn't, saying he did
makes all
made
the
price go up.
Make it's gonna go crazy. So, like, all right. So this is I kind of took down kind of in order some of the major, like, little tidbits that I was like, ooh, this is something gangster. So in the beginning, he talked the phobia, the collective black phobia of mental health.
Okay, before we get to that.
Okay, go ahead.
In the very beginning, right? And I don't know if I'm not going to say it's an ego thing, but I know the feeling when you think you really nailed a great joke and nobody gets it, right? In the beginning,
go ahead.
He makes a great Hillary Clinton joke. And
oh yeah. It was the first time I was with Hillary Clinton. You didn't even get it. Right.
And you saw him deflate a little bit, right? Like, you saw the breath he had to take.
He had to remember where he was.
Like, okay, these niggas not political. All right, they ain't know that was her slogan. Yeah. But I'm just like, I'm hurting with you, bro. I know. You landed that.
I love that you brought that up.
Like, you landed that.
Yo, it was.
Like, the first time I was actually with her. And he paused and waited for him to get it. And they just,
they didn't totally over their heads. That's a super fact.
You're right. Mental health. My bad.
No, you fine. You fine. Thank you for bringing that in. That was funny as hell. All right. Black community has a phobia of mental health and how we approach it, how we look at it, our perspective of it, down to the point where we know we might have relatives or loved ones that are in need of help. And instead of pointing them in the direction of professionals who can help them deal with their I don't like calling it issues, but being able to find somebody that they can talk to so they can work through whatever they need to work through, we all just say, suck it up. Deal with it.
Well, we send them to church because, you know, you can pray everything away.
Please, we just say church. Please don't.
You can pray everything away. Like, we didn't believe
you can't play our damn
in
thing
therapists because we thought that was white people stuff. That we didn't need that. That if you were pious enough, you tithed enough, if you were faithful enough, if you were self-depreciating enough, because, like, that's part of how they teach humility inside the Christian church is for you to not see yourself but to so much of a standard, that would fix whatever's broken inside you. And
that is definitely not a bad idea. I mean, that's not a good idea at all.
Yeah, I mean, and it failed us, and then whole generation left the church. Right. And now you got, now you have pastors that talk about mental health and faith. I think both are equally as important, but they weren't believed to be for a number of generations. And so that's one of those things in the cycle that we got to break.
Correct.
We got to know that my therapist is just as important as my pastor.
That's a fact. I have some loved ones around me that I deal with on a regular basis. And the most frustrating thing I have to keep like we'll have conversations about mental health or them being in therapy or dealing with issues. They'll be like, this is because I'm crazy, and I'll be like, stop using the word crazy. I'm like, just because you're going to see a professional doesn't mean you're crazy. You're help. I'm like, you need somebody on the outside to help you work through something. I said the same way basketball dudes ain't crazy for having a referee. Football ain't crazy. You need a referee. You need somebody to be in the middle to call the shots. What just happened here? What is going on? To explain to the layman person or the person on the outside, or even to the person that's on the field. You can't see everything that's happening on the field. So you need somebody to call the play. Hey, you did this wrong. This person is offside. That's all the therapist is somebody that can stand on the outside and give you perspective so that you can work through whatever you're working through.
And not just perspective, but also coaching.
There you go.
Like, if this is where the goal line is, from my perspective, you going at it wrong. Mm-hmm. If you come from this way, they weak on this side, and then you can get over here that way.
Exactly.
Same thing.
That's but you'd be surprised how after I say this constantly, I'm still having to have fights with people that are in therapy about their perspective on therapy and how they feel about it. It's just like, how are you in it and you see how much good has come out of it, but you keep trying to find a way to, all right, they'll say, I'm trying to finish this so I can cut it off and I don't have to go back to a therapist anymore. Like, it's a lifelong journey of evolution and development. You're always going to have
a lot of people in therapy because it's trendy now. They ain't there to get help.
Well, the ones I'm talking about, they really need it. But I thought that was...
Everybody needs it.
That's what I'm saying.
If you was born in the United States of America, you need therapy.
Oh, I love that.
Be black, white, Asian, Indian, I don't give a damn.
Right.
You live here, with all that's going on here, you need therapy.
Right. And then he did that. I'm sorry. Did you want to make another point? Because I was about to switch up. So he takes the mental health thing and then he explains how... hey, they try to use this mental health thing to take my power away. Now, it is so serendipitous that we just went through 6 months of, Britney Spears fighting to get her freedom back after they labeled her as, unable to, handle her own business, her own life. So it's so interesting how he's coming in. He didn't even reference Britney, which would have been a perfect example, but he was just saying, hey, man, like, don't y'all see they trying to paint me as crazy so they can take my power away, so they can take my ability to make my own decisions, to take my bank accounts away, and I ain't gonna let that happen. Y'all not about to sit here and call me crazy. Like, you know what I mean? And then if y'all watch if you think about it, throughout the whole entire interview, he keeps breaking down moments where y'all might think I'm crazy, but hey, let me tell you about this PR chick that keeps trying to say I'm crazy. Chick, I made all of this money. You work for me. Like, and
like you out here talking, but you in my house though.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Everything you making money off of ideas that came out of my mouth that you keep saying are stupid ideas, but they end up making money that you make money off of.
Right.
So like, why don't you just shut the hell up or get out of my house or whatever?
I remember one of the first interviews Chappelle did when he came back from Africa. It was on one of my favorite shows called Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton.
I love that joint.
Rest in peace, James Lipton. And he asked him, and Chappelle said, the most dismissive thing you can say about a person is that they're crazy. Mm-hmm. Admit that you don't understand, but don't dismiss them, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of stuck with me to the point that, like, we don't hang out often, but you've been around me. I'll call myself crazy first, because if I beat you to the punch, ain't no punch.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? Because I've watched people who are deemed crazy, even before Kanye, get used, that terminology and that judgment get used against him in the way that Ye is talking about. He's not crazy for saying, we've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. We've seen it happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can say it on a political level, right? They said it about Lauren. Lauren was crazy. No, Lauren was in an abusive relationship fighting for her money and her freedom because they was trying to take her from her kids. But how long was the narrative that Lauryn Hill was crazy?
It's still going on.
Right.
And the only thing that's changing it now is I feel like she decided she wants to step back into the world. You know what I mean? I feel like that verse on Nas's album, a few strategic moves on her part to let y'all know I'm still out here and I'm still relevant.
In that verse, she make it real clear, just like Ye did in that interview. I hear y'all. Mm-hmm. And it ain't the outside, the strangers, the white noise.
Right.
It ain't the peripheral niggas. It's the nigga that sat next to me, broke bread with me, said they love me, then went on Facebook and posted some wild ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
facts.
Like, we can't call each other. Like, we not family. Like, I won't pull up and knock on your door, my man. You see what I'm saying? Like,
facts.
The internet changed real.
Oh, you about to go ahead, say it.
Real
say
niggas
it.
ain't real niggas no more.
No, yo, internet changed society.
It changed society.
It changed
gave
what
us excuses.
It changed our social norms.
It gave us excuses
Mm-hmm.
to justify disloyalty, to justify disrespect, to justify backbiting. Like, ain't none of this of God.
Speak on it, sister. Let me give you some $100 out here. What you talking about? Talk to him.
Ain't none of that of God though. But you be the first one want someone pray for you when your money fucked up.
Because my money is fucked up.
I'm gonna pray for you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that. That's all I needed was a prayer. I mean, I could use a job, but nah, you just pray for me.
I'm retired. I ain't got no job to give you, baby. I ain't even got a job.
I ain't talking to you. Shut up. Don't worry about you. Talk about the ones that talk about they go pray for me. Look, nigga, once you do something, don't pray. Make a phone call.
Prayer is doing something.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Took it to the highest voice that you can call them.
There you go. All right. The term professional rap. That term was brought up when the discussion of Drake versus Kanye. So the reason why I think this is an important phrase, number one, for artists that still think about rap as a romanticized thing. Like, you romanticize hip hop and rapping and making music versus looking at it from the business strategic. Hey, bro, there's people that literally sit down and they're mapping this stuff out. Like, this is written out. Hey, Drake attacked me, but this is not I just dropped a verse on you and I kept it moving. No, this is, hey, I spent months, maybe years strategizing on how I'm going to take you down so that I can take the number one spot. Hey, and it's not just a verse. It's, I'm going to contact these chicks and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I was like, he, for the first time in my entire life, has broken down the business of rap in like the most simplistic way that I really still feel like it went over people's heads. Like, the dudes that are the most successful are the most strategic and they spend the most time developing what they're doing. But go ahead.
Well, the ones that are most successful, be they strategic or not, are only of a certain echelon. Like, every rapper ain't a professional rapper.
That's a fact.
I don't want them listening to that and thinking they in the same league as him and Drake.
And you even referring to people that is signed, still not professional rappers.
Yeah. Like, it's a certain level you got to get to where, you know, he intentionally only mentioned elite artists and elite athletes for his analogies, for a purpose. You see what I'm saying? Like, to reach this level of your professional, or like if you're a chess player, it's the grandmaster level, right? You only get there. Everybody ain't there. Everybody that play chess ain't a grandmaster. Everybody that's a rapper not a professional rapper. Everybody that sold records ain't a professional rapper. You might not have had the same influence on the culture. You might sound like somebody else. A whole bunch of copycats out there, like he said. I mean, I listen to the radio, I don't know who none of these people are. And they all sound the same to me.
That's a fact.
Is it because I'm old? Is it the 40 in me? I don't think so. Because I like a Roddy Ricch. I can tell Roddy. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
I like the baby. I got young artists that I listen to. So, you know, my son put me on to G Herbo. Love G Herbo. So but G Herbo's not a professional rapper.
Yeah, I've always defended the argument that when we're young, we don't have nothing to do but digging stuff that we love. Like, as a kid, I was a super hip hop head, so every Source magazine I bought, every Vibe magazine I bought, every Double XL I bought. Right. So like, I'm reading and it's not just the top names I was reading about. I'm reading the articles on the new artists, the up and coming guys, the underground guys, and so like I'm in love with the Larry Junes and the Currencies and the underground guys as much as, the Benny the Butchers and the same way I'm into, the upper echelon. But once you get older, who got time for that? Like, you got bills to pay, you got kids to raise, you got vacations to plan. It's funny
because it seemed like that, and I used to say that, like, I just like the artists I like. I didn't know new artists for a while.
And that's another part of getting older too. You settle into the sounds and the vibes that you into, and that's it.
But that's one of the things I think I credit Rockefeller for. Is it's a whole bunch of artists that I would have never found if Jay never did a song with him.
Very true.
So like, that's what it is now. Is like, so new artists will be on an artist that I already follow, right? So somebody I never heard of on a song with Kiss, I'm gonna listen to the song because it's Kiss, right? But now I found this artist. Now I'm gonna go look at
what they got.
At their catalog,
Right.
right? And then having kids, my son's in college now, you know, so listen, I want to know what he's listening to, because I want to know what's influencing you, right, as a parent. But what's your taste? What's your criteria for what's good music and what's not? Let's talk about this.
That's a good conversation to have, where that's a safe ground where the kids don't feel like you prying too much in their personal life, but then y'all not just doing high and by either. So I like that. I respect
Yeah,
it.
like we was up when when Off Season dropped. My son and I were up texting until 4:00 in the morning. Did I know he had class? Yes. Did I have something I probably need to get up and do? Probably. But we had waited.
Man,
And this is an artist that we both love.
Right.
And we listening and texting back. And did you catch this line? Did you catch that? You see what? But now I know how my son's mind works. Because the kind of music he gravitates to is identifying the kind of spirit he has. And where I've gone right or wrong, truth be told, right? As a parent. And shaping and molding this human being that I'm sending out into the world.
That's deep. I could do a whole hour and a half off of that alone. a whole mess of questions just popped in my head. Like, all right, I gotta ask this one question. If we go and get back to this, so like, say number one, props for you for even taking that approach. But the second thing is, where if you do realize something in the midst of a conversation, you realize, damn, I slipped up or I made a mistake. Do you actively go back and hold yourself accountable for it with your child, and then y'all like work through it together, or is it okay? Cool, that's deep. Like,
absolutely, I can be like, you know what? I thought I was right and I was wrong, or you were right, but the ageism in me and the parent in me said you weren't old enough to know what you knew, and I ain't trust your gut, and I was wrong. My bad.
I think that's super hard for a parent to raise a child and then know at what point to trust that they're going to make the right decision. Like, is it 4, is it 6, is it 8, is it 12, is it 16, is it 20? Because they can be doing a bunch of stuff right, but then be making a bunch of dumb decisions at the same time that kind of throws off your...
And that's life, and that's who they are. And my job as the vessel that got them here is just to show them how to improve on their strengths. It's not to decide what's strongest for them. Because suppose they good at something that they don't like. I'm not going to push them to go be a pianist if you really want to go surfboarding. You feel me? Like, that's not my role.
Right.
My role is to feed you, educate you, keep you safe, get you to adulthood with a core value system that allows you to be whatever it is God brought you here to be in the world.
That was deep. You just dropped off. I just want you to understand that was deep what you just dropped off these critical boom, 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 boom. Yo, all right. That's what's up, man. Did you write a book about it?
Nah.
You need to write a book.
I don't think nobody taking parents' advice from me.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I'm still out in these streets. So I'm still meeting young women that have children. Now, mind you, I come from a very large family, and I had to be raised and raised at the same time. So in my older years, I feel like I have a really great understanding of parenting, even though I'm not a parent, and I know that's just a stupid thing for me to say out my mouth. But after being around so many women and their children, and just feeling like this ain't good. Like, what are you doing? You too much yelling, or not enough. Either too much direction, not enough direction at all, or not even having an ethos, not even having a plan. You just freestyling everything.
Yeah, because that might have been the example that they saw.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I come from parents that had clear expectations of what they expected of themselves as parents and of me and my brothers as children. But they also knew that they wanted to be parents. Like, I tell people all the time, some of my confidence that people confuse for arrogance is rooted in the fact that my daddy wanted me. He asked God for me, had my name picked out before he ever met my mama. You see what I'm saying? So when it's a purpose-driven thing, yeah, it's going to hit different.
Yeah.
I'm not an accident.
Your confidence is different.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody got on 2 knees and asked God to make me or bring me here, bring me back to this time in the universe. Everybody ain't got that story. And I'm not knocking you if you don't, because you're still here for something.
That's a fact.
But just understand that I move different because my cells got different memories than yours. You know, like,
that's super deep. All right, back to Kanye. All right, that's what I said. We going for hours. All right, social media is World War III.
Absolutely.
Okay, that super deep. What does that mean to you?
We've been in a war for mind control for years. For years. Like, it's before social media, it was in the messaging and commercials and the type of programming we saw on TV and movies. The less that we think for ourselves, the easier we are to control. And now we went from a 24-hour news cycle that made us dumb down as an electorate to now this is milliseconds, constantly updating, constant. You have no time to process information if you're constantly taking it in, right? And it's designed intentionally to make you feel like you're missing something and keep coming back. So even if you say, I want to read this article and sit back and do some research, it's a part of your brain now that's wired that's saying, but so-and-so might have posted such and such.
Right.
So while you trying to research and actually know something, your mind is telling you that you're missing something and you're lacking something in the world because you're not scrolling still.
Right.
Dangerous place to be in.
And it don't even be nothing there.
It don't be nothing there.
I be picking up my phone and don't even, like, I be recognizing the addiction because I'll pick the phone up and like, why am I picking up my phone? Like, I'm not looking for nothing. There's nothing there. Like, why does my first thing to go right there?
And then your self-esteem being tied into that. If you don't know who you are and you're not spiritually sound, like he was speaking on, like, how many likes, right? How many likes? How many times did the story get viewed? How many times did the tweet get retweeted? You know, and it's crazy because I guess that none of that ever mattered to me, right? Like, my entire existence on social media is an experiment as far as I'm concerned. Because, like, I'll say whatever. If you know me in real life, though, I'm say whatever.
That's a fact.
Right? You see what I'm saying? But my most retweeted stuff is a picture, because we're a very superficial society. I might have talked about policy all day. No retweets, right? Put up a picture, maybe got a V-neck shirt on. Oh, the titties is out. Everybody here. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, or if I'm being negative towards someone because we love the beef, right? Like, I remember a couple of months ago, I broke a personal rule of my own, which is that I don't speak ill of Brandon Scott in public because we friends, right? I'm going to call that man when I disagree. I'm not taking it to Twitter. Because I know to the outside, they don't see two friends disagreeing. They see a former mayoral candidate talking to the person that won like I'm a sore loser. But that ain't the nature of our relationship.
Right.
Right? So I was drinking. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not perfect. So I'm sitting on Twitter. I see something that upsets me. And I retweet and say something about it. Right? And go to sleep. Completely forget that I didn't even did this wild that shit. Right? Wake up. It's 100 and something retweets. It's people in my mentions. And then I was like, ooh, this is bad. I'm like, but Brandon ain't said nothing, so maybe he missed it. But Brandon don't miss nothing, right? Then somebody, this is how you know they messy and they want to create division. I made the tweet 2 days, right, before the live town hall event that they put it in the comments section on the TV. I wasn't even watching the town hall. I'm somewhere totally different. I ain't in Low Italy. I'm not watching this. The tweet was 2 days old at this point. They put it on the screen. That's when B see it. So then I get a text like, yo, chill. Explaining the situation in the way that we talk. So now here's the difference between a lot of people. You see what I'm saying? I apologized in the text. But because my disrespect had been that public, my apology was too. That same platform, I went back and apologized. Like, that ain't us.
Right.
And I'm bigger than that. But did that tweet?
No.
The tweet where I took the L myself? No, like, I was wrong?
No retweets. No retweets. No comments.
Right.
No,
Because
you're a bigger person.
The only things that we love now, the stuff that's driving us, is all sickness. We love the beef. We love the bravado. We love the bravado. We love the murder, death, kill. Like, and then you wonder why the kids is on murder, death, kill. Look what you glorified for.
Super deep. Super deep. I'm also going to say this, is that I think the other critical thing you said was we're in a war for people's minds.
Yeah.
We are in a war for people's approval. We're in a war for people's, of course, money. And before it used to be, let's put ad in a magazine, ad in a paper, something on television. And then if people coming by, then we know we got something. Or if you can try to put it in the hands of certain people, there were influences, but it was just a different way, and it would influence people to buy. But now this direct-to-consumer thing has become so deep. Now you don't even know when you're being sold and when you're not being sold because they spend so much time trying to integrate.
I like the direct-to-consumer because it creates more of an opportunity to build wealth for the person who can't build a company and only a product.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, it leveled the playing. And for all the things that's bad about social media, it leveled the playing field for independent artists. It leveled the like being able to take your music directly to the people without having to be signed, without having to have a manager. Like, it changed the game. It's just that we didn't have any accountability in the changes.
Right.
Like, we're going to allow this to help grow the lane this way, but these moral things got to come with.
See, but when you do that, that's why I'm like I said, I've had this argument and people say that the internet should be regulated, and I keep saying no, because the internet's
I'm not saying the internet should be regulated. We should be regulating ourselves and who
Agreed.
And how, as community, we allow these tools to be used for and against us.
Agreed. 100% agree with that. I definitely agree with that. How, but then comes the difficult question of who. Okay, so how do we determine what is cool and what isn't cool? And then how does that play a purpose in cultural differences? Because in our culture, certain things we cool with. You know what I mean? You might go to another culture and the thing that we think is the coolest thing in the world, they find it as an insult. So how do we find the happy medium?
Technology can advance and will continue to advance for as long as mankind walks the earth. But right and wrong ain't never changed, y'all.
That's an arguable situation.
Right and wrong ain't changed. Respect ain't changed. You know what it is. And when you start trying to dance around it, it means you won't be able to disrespect somebody over there, but still demand respect right here. Ain't no way you see yourself as a human being, or as Ye kept saying, a child of God. There's no way you see yourself as a living being that's accountable to anything else in the universe and make excuses to be less than to someone else or see yourself as superior to somebody else.
So, all right. So, what if I did feel like I was Kanye, or if I felt the same way Kanye does, like when I feel like I'm a god, you know what I mean, and I'm entitled.
He would agree with you,
right? So, but wouldn't other people find it to be disrespectful because they would be like, "No, there's only one God. Like, you shouldn't have the ability to use that term to reference yourself or any other human being. This term should only be you." And that's where I say that's where it becomes difficult to.
The terminology isn't disrespectful to people.
Sometimes it is.
If you want them to treat you
right
as if you are their God,
right,
that's when they're gonna take issue because they like, look, I pray to Jesus over here, but be God. We all made in His image. We all God, but if you're not requiring worship, nobody's getting offended by how you see yourself.
Okay. That's a way to argue it. All right, social media wars. The last element I want to get into it is that. Was the social media war a necessity? The world that we live in now, do you feel like we would have evolved as a species as fast as we have without technology on social issues?
Are we evolved?
I mean, the fact that we sit here and talk about mental health, I feel like that's a huge evolution. Dude, the fact that we are, even if whether or not we're arguing about transgender, LGBTQ issues or whatever, these are all results of having technology that has pushed our mentality forward and forced us to address and look at things that we have otherwise ignored in the past. Isn't that not evolution to a certain extent?
Nah, we just talking about it in larger spaces, far more reckless, and ain't nothing been solved yet. You just got more people arguing because they notice other people on their side. Some people felt pre-social media the way that they felt, but they didn't have nobody else that agreed with them, so I ain't talk about it.
Okay, I'm only gonna disagree, and I'm gonna use myself as an example. Like when I was younger, I was taught that gay is bad. Gays, lesbians, this is bad. This is the devil, and this and that and the third. And that's what I was taught when I was a kid. But then as I grew older, and I realized, man, I got an aunt that's gay. I got a cousin that's gay. And I love these. I love these people. These are my people. This is my family. You know what I mean? And I had to realize that me regurgitating some bullshit that somebody else said that I didn't really feel because I didn't know any gay people at the time, but I'm just going off of what somebody else's stupid ass shit said. I realized I hurt somebody that I love. And when they approached me about it and like we had a conversation about it, I realized, yo, bro, like, nah, I don't hate you. And I don't want you to ever feel like, or any other individual that is living this life to feel like that there's some hatred that I don't want you around, that you don't have any rights,
But the key thing to what you said was you didn't know any gay people growing up.
Exactly.
I did. I've been in Greenwich Village. You see what I'm saying? Like when I was my daughter's age.
Okay.
You know, see, she 8. She in 3rd grade.
I'm sitting here really thinking like, was there some gay people around? I mean, there was some gay niggas around, but it wasn't promoted like that.
It wasn't promoted, but old folks got coded language, right?
Yes.
They talked about them without us supposedly knowing what they was talking about. You know, sweet and
definitely heard that term. Yes. Right. And the lisp. Right. For gay dudes. There was always that lisp and a little bit of extra.
So, you know, I knew gay people. I knew lesbians. I knew trans people my whole life. And still ain't never get to where they are in this side of the conversation when you talk about the way the community is talked about, or you get to a canceling Chappelle. Like when he said in the closer about, you know, the old gays that he knew, like these were a rougher crowd than some black families. Like you had to have thick skin because the jokes are endless. The reaming is endless. The sensitivity with which the community is being represented now and being made out to be victims is so ironically disrespectful to the testament of the people who really had to fight physically to be who they are and live their lifestyle, that lost their lives because wasn't nothing weak about them.
Facts.
Wasn't nothing weak about them. This new I don't know about this, you know, everything real soft.
I honestly do feel like that there's a concerted effort to try to bring down individuals if they have something to say. Like, so if you're looking at Dave Chappelle, I definitely feel like they're trying to take him down a peg because he's risen to a level of
freedom
that and freedom and influence that not many other black people have gotten to. And for him to be able to voice himself in such a free manner, I feel like that upsets and it makes certain people nervous. So it's like, yo, we got to get this dude back down. You know what I'm saying? And we until we can find a way to R. Kelly or Bill Cosby his ass. You know what I mean? Until we can get him completely up out of here.
Dave is our generation's Dick Gregory. I remember when I
shout out to Dick Gregory. R.I.P. Dick Gregory.
When I got to meet Dick Gregory, to interview him, it was funny because it came on a humble, like, Ooh called my phone, like me and Job playing over at Sojourner Douglas, Brownfish playing, do you want to come meet Dick Gregory? We'll just say you part of the band. Damn right I want to meet Dick Gregory. What you talking about? I'll meet you there. I was on the parking lot of Sojourner Douglas before Ooh and Johnny got there. Like, what? And so, like, one of my first questions, because, I mean, my grandmother was a big Dick Gregory fan. She had every Bohemian Diet cookbook and whatever. If Dick said it, touched it, said he was about to touch it, she was on it. Mm-hmm. So my question to him was like, how did you get to say whatever you wanted to say and it never have a backlash on your career? He said it's easy. I made my millions making them laugh and then they couldn't tell me how I could spend my fucking money. And just like that, no pause, he ain't had to think about it. That unapologeticness of your freedom. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have that space. And fear is a learned behavior. Mm-hmm. Right? Children don't know not to touch the stove because it's hot because they don't know. Right? They don't know that they can drown in the water, so they might try to throw a tantrum in the tub and fall out, but they might kill themselves. That's what we here for. Mm-hmm. Right? That same thing is, I don't teach my kids fear. The world's going to try to do that anyway because she female, because she black. Because my son is black. You see what I'm saying? He's male. All of these different things that the world's already going to try to program them to be scared of so that they feel less than. Like what Ye said, preparation for your limitation. I don't teach them that. No is an answer you don't have to accept. What's another way to get to your goal? Is that the only way? And I mean, it backfires sometimes. I'd be like, nah, I don't feel like going to get sushi. So what's she going to do? She going to call her aunt and be like, Mommy won't get me no sushi. And my sister going to pull up. But what I'm training her brain to do is evident in the outcome. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a freedom in the fearlessness. I wish so many of us would be less fearful. I think we are the nastiest to each other out of fear. It ain't really that we hate the person that don't think like us.
Right.
We just scared that if they get in control, they going to take something out on us for not thinking like them, because that's what we've done to them. So there's a fear of the reciprocity or the karma, right? But then there's also the fear of what you don't understand. It's a certain amount of faith you got to have, but people ain't spiritual no more. So if you ain't got no faith, it's easy for fear to reside in you. But that fear makes you easy to be programmed. That fear makes you easy to be manipulated. That fear makes you do stuff like vote for Kamala Harris.
I knew before you came here, I was like, she's gonna take shots, and I gotta be prepared for that. Like,
I mean, these ain't shots. It's truth.
It's a fact. What I'm saying? Yo, all right. I'm trying. I don't want you to go ham because you got so much to go ham about our city and some of the secondhand treatment you've received over the years. But I mean, one thing I want to say, when I was watching this Kanye thing that really resonated with me, when he was just talking about how, like, yo, I do all of this stuff and it just seems like people keep trying to limit me or box me in. And I was like, yo, that's so crazy. Like, no matter how much, like, there was a time, and I've said this before and I'll say this again, and because I still feel like it's relevant. When I was doing what I was doing with the radio station and we were at our height, and I kept trying to, like, I was doing the same thing all of the time. I reached out to every person to try to give them an opportunity. Do you want a piece? What do you want to do? You want me to do an event with you? You want to do a show? Like, come on, let's get together, because it was not just me running to get trap rappers. I was getting the freestyle kings. I was trying to get the underground niggas. I was anybody that was really creative and was serious about their game. I'm trying to bring everybody together. Right. I'm trying to get everybody on the same page. Lord, let's build this. Let's take this to another level. It wasn't just selfish because I was trying to be a millionaire. It was just my general love for, hey, I see how we all struggling as individuals. If we can work together, we could get farther faster. You know what I mean? And let's create opportunities. And in that, I never understood why certain phone calls were never returned. I never understood why.
Because if they can't see your vision, they're not going to understand the value of it. You see what I'm saying?
And so I got that part. But then the thing I didn't understand, and I would literally be sitting in my office for hours and days at a time, and I'm on my phone all day long. Even though at the time when I was in the middle of it, I knew that people were working against me. I didn't know who they were, and I didn't know why. But that was something I just didn't understand. Why are there so many people working against me when I'm doing nothing but trying to help everybody? And then when my business closes and the shingle comes down, and I go back to my home, and I'm drinking my coffee in kind of like semi-retirement situations, and that's when people come to me and we have conversations, and they were like, yo, bro, like, I really ain't like what you was doing. So I was doing this to kind of stop you. And I would just be going, what? And I'm just like, for what? I mean, because you was doing it better than I was doing it. Or I ain't think you was going to bring me along. And I'm like, how many times did I reach out to you and ask you to come be a part of something? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Even conversations.
But it was fear.
Yeah.
Fear that you would do something better than them. Fear that you would leave them behind, so I'm not even going to ask, can I get on the ride? Fear that you'll kick me out the vehicle halfway through the trip because you're not going to like something I say a couple weeks down the road on there. Fear. Everybody like, moving around scared, talking about they ain't never scared.
Or people being angry because I did stuff for them, but they wanted me to do more. And I kept trying to explain to people, I can't do but so much. I can't just make you famous. I can't just push a button and make you the greatest person that ever happened. Like, you've got to do the work. I can open the door for you, but I can't, pick you up, carry you through the door, and then, you know what I mean? I'm like, and that anger and resentment so many artists had. Whereas, like, before, they would always be there eating up all the food in my fridge and doing whatever.
It's funny because I used to host 2 open mics in the city. Like, a lot of people don't know, before I went full into politics, I was a poet. Right? So, me and Sir Robinson, Sir Raines, hosted Thursdays called Soul Speak on the 2nd floor of Jimmy Britton's restaurant on Howard Street. And then me and Tana Faye and Tamara Graham has Soul Sundays in the basement of everyone's place. You see what I'm saying? Like, just my venues alone, Black History in Baltimore, right? And And Either Poet MC will tell you, like, I paid features. Like, my thing that made my show different wasn't about if I had as many heads in the room as you did. I wanted to respect the artist, right? And I ain't had no sponsors. I'm paying $150 for a 30-minute set out my pocket. This $2,000.
You was balling.
I had a good job. You see what I'm saying? But what I was trying to set the precedent for was more important than the money.
Exactly.
It was that artists deserve to be paid. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, this craft, this talent is a product as much as if you go to the post office and deliver mail. Mm-hmm. And you deserve to be compensated for it. And I wanted the rest of the industry to see that mindset, right? That you charging $5 at the door, you got something that you can give this person whose name you threw on the flyer that brought the draw. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, let's be in this together. That's what collective economics really is. Agreed. If putting my name on it is going to help you get them through the door, then I want something off the door. Mm-hmm. Because now if I got something in my pocket, now I can go to the bartender, right? I can tip the bartender. That's our people's too. So with his extra money, he going to go support so-and-so and buy the hat, buy the shirt. The money moving around.
Mm-hmm. Collective economics.
The money's moving around. But, it was poets. We friends now, but like people know that me and Tiff Salim from Poetology for years, like beef. Tiff used to show up at the end of my show so he ain't had to pay to give out 409 gallery flyers for the next day. Like, it'd be little stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
We don't respect like I can't even say it's a lack of respect. I think it's fear. It's all driven in fear. Like, we're just afraid of being left behind or hurt. And so we rather be the one to lash out first, like the one that swing first so that you're not the one to get snuck. Right. Because that's what the programming tell you. It can only be one.
I think that's so ridiculous. And I feel like it's so limiting, even whether we talking about Baltimore, whether we talk about the black community, whether we talking about America. That mentality has just been so counterproductive, bro. Like, it has really stopped progress. I've been to, I never forget, and I said this a couple weeks ago, I was with a friend. I was like, I've been to a meeting with over 100 of the most important industry people. And it was like drawn by this one guy, like, and I can't say his name because everybody know him. And it was like two guys that's like industry, the go-to niggas. So they called the meeting, everybody comes, quicks over everybody. And they had the audacity while I'm standing there to say, yo, we need a platform for local music. So, or do we need to build one from the ground up? And I'm like,
oh yeah, now that's always the thing, right? So we love to reinvent the wheel, right?
And I'm standing right there with a whole business model, and I'm just like, why do we need to?
You standing right there with the business model, right? She's 8. 9 years before that, me and Tia Hamilton had WMSK, had the model. 10 years before that, I had On Point Radio. But when you don't like the person who's the architect of the model that you asking for, or you can't take ownership of it, you can't take credit. Because see, it's not that you didn't have the platform. They couldn't say they built it.
Got you.
They couldn't say they built it.
Does that make all of the difference in the world?
Yeah. The ownership, the credit. Everybody wants to be the guy.
But think about how much, and the only thing that irritated, which I understood in the moment, and I let them have a moment because I'm not going to scream and holler and do all that because somebody else did that while in the meeting. And I was just like, why are you doing it? It's not going to make no difference. But the thing I'm thinking is if any one of you guys were real businessmen, y'all would know that it's such a waste of time to try to build something from the ground up. If you got something that already is functioning and is working, why not just invest in that? You know what I mean? Or have a conversation. If you don't know somebody, why don't you try to get to know the person?
Because I'm the person that they should get to know. You don't get it? I'm the guy. If I didn't build it, it's not worthy.
That is such a retarded sentiment.
That's the people that
I know.
We out here with, though.
That's super weird.
I be in the house. Niggas talking about they outside. I be in the house.
I'll be minding my own business.
Outside full of fools, man.
For real. Self-esteem and clothing.
Yeah.
He was referencing how when I'm quite sure you remember every moment of this, but like he was talking about how he was a kid. He ends up getting a certain pair of sneakers. People started showing him love. Then he goes somewhere else to visit. He ends up getting into a whole new style of clothes. He brings that style back to Chicago. Now he becomes a trendsetter. And from that point, I feel like that informed the type of person that he wanted to be for the rest of his life. I think that story was the reason why that story was told. So crazy. Like, what does fashion mean to you? And what did that story mean to you? Obviously, outside of the obvious stuff.
I mean, well, Jordan 4s are one of my favorite pairs of Jordans.
Okay. Shout out to you.
So, like, that's what he said. His mother got him. He didn't know what they were. I was more impressed with the fact that he didn't know what they were, right? And so maybe that is the genesis of how Ye wants to get into fashion and not just music. Like, every artist I know plays around in different mediums. They're not just a poet or just a photographer. Like, artists are constantly creating. I've been in politics for 20 years. I never stopped being an artist. Right? So, and my mind is constantly going. So, for me, fashion... It's funny. I don't even know what's fashion. Some things are fashionable, and I'll be like, I think that's ugly. But okay, if you like it, that's on you. It's a well-known fact. I mostly wear black, right? The majority of times you've seen me, I'm in black.
I've seen you in a lot of different settings, Catalina. So I've seen you in not black, and I've seen you not wear black, and I've seen you wear black. Okay, so, I get it.
So for the most part, I wear black, be it formal, casual, whatever.
That's probably why you didn't win the election, because you wear black too much.
I mean, it's other reasons. But my mindset...
I don't want my mayor to look like she came from the Addams family.
Look, my mother used to be like, where do you shop? Witches are us? Like, where do you find this much black stuff?
I love your mom. Shout out to your mom.
Oh, my mother's...
That was lit.
Hilarious.
She lit you up. That was a moment that I would have been offended. Like,
but I made that decision, like, back in middle school, right? I'm not a morning person, but I was raised that you have to be presentable. Like, that's what the wigs was about. I'm not waking up early to flat iron my hair. That's 20 minutes of extra sleep. I could buy the hair already combed, put it on like a hat. I just cut 20 minutes out the wake up time, right? It's a science to me.
That's a fact.
So I had read this thing about Albert Einstein that all of his clothes were the same because he didn't want to have to think about what to wear when he got up. I'm like, all my shit black. Whether I'm half asleep, when I get up, no matter what I put on, as long as I pick a shirt and a pair of pants and a pair of shoes, I match. Like, it ain't no, like, it's, that's really.
I hate how you.
I feel it, I hear.
You gave up on the attempt. You gave up on any attempt. That's literally giving up on the attempt.
It's certain brands I like, you know what I'm saying?
Balenciaga, we got it.
I ain't never had nothing Balenciaga. I'm going to trust Kanye because he cares about quality, that it don't feel like paper bags, and that the cotton is quality. I trust that. Somebody going to have to give it to me like Balenciaga gave it to him for me to ever get it. I'm not paying for it.
Facts.
You know, it's some cookware I'd rather go buy. Like, my happy place is in the kitchen.
Shout out to you. That's how real niggas move. All right, so he was late as hell. All right, so I just want to introduce to everybody that's on camera, but also to Catalina. This is my boy Yeti.
What's
you know
up?
what I'm saying? He's from Baltimore as well.
DJ Yeti, the War Machine, checking in. Shout out to VBC Radio.
And he's a DJ now. I'm sorry.
I'm not like Pill. I'm actually trying to make money. I'm playing.
Ooh.
See? Shots.
You see
that's my man. Y'all know Pill, my man. Everybody that know VBC Radio know me and Pill.
Everybody
like
know. That's family right there. That's family. So, all right. So you've come in
yes, sir.
More than halfway through. So we're at the point of the story. And all right. So I'm trying to give you an idea. So what I did is I listened to the whole thing twice. And then the second go round, I started writing down to me what I felt were major conversation pieces. So like the self-esteem and the clothing. Now, cancel culture, but I think we kind of covered cancel culture already. Nope, we didn't cover cancel culture.
I love it. I'm above it.
Yeah, I love that response. I love that response.
I would like to say, because she said that bullcrap when she first came in, like you was canceled. Please, like, there's a difference between gracefully bowing out or you just deciding to not be a part of the bullshit anymore.
No. But they have two separate things happening, y'all. They legit tried to cancel me around here.
Tried, but not successful.
It was successful for some people. It's some people.
Oh my God.
It was successful for some people.
So just because a person eat dog food don't mean that's a pie I want to
I'm telling you, there's people right now that don't speak to me in public because of what I did in an election last year.
But that's not canceling. That's just being childish.
Not when your man's is on social media talking about it and blocking you and talking and creating space for other people to come and have negative opinions about you and you can't even see it or defend yourself. Nah, that's malicious.
That's being petty.
I do think that's a malicious attack, but
it's malicious.
I wouldn't equate that to cancel culture though, because in my opinion, my honest opinion, the only people that effectively cancel someone is the justice system. That's the only way. I mean, you absolutely 100%.
If we want to take cancel and the definition, like is anybody that's canceled really canceled? No,
except for
but
R.
the
Kelly, because he went to jail.
That's not canceled. That's
like I said, in my opinion, only the justice system. But that's what I'm saying. Only the justice system can take you out the game.
But when people talk about cancel culture, they not talking about jail.
Exactly.
So like cancel culture has succeeded. Kevin Hart didn't get to host the Oscars that year.
By choice.
No.
It was a choice. He made a choice.
It's the echo chamber you create when you disagree with somebody for something that ain't even got nothing to do with you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. The allies of Chappelle, who ain't even part of the LGBTQ canceling Chappelle, this ain't even your fight.
But he ain't canceled.
Even the LGBT community said, we ain't canceling Chappelle.
No.
I get where you're going with Catalina, but at the end of the day, you and I both know, as funny as this is for you, at the end of the day, they can't cancel you. You just gracefully decided, I'll let y'all have this shit, and I'm gonna go about my business. No,
in 2010,
it ain't stop your money. It ain't stop your opportunity.
The funny thing is, I had said 10 years before that I was going to retire in 2020. Niggas just don't listen. Like, I said in 2010, y'all got 10 more years. I was 10 years into my professional political year. I said, you got 10 more left. You can learn from me. You can ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've tried to mentor. I've talked to other candidates. I work across party lines. I've worked with Green Party candidates, Republican, Democrat, all of that. The year that it's coming, and my hashtag is literally countdown to retirement. Y'all mad? I'm already on my way out the door.
And you lit the fire.
I opened the door.
Lit a match
and
on your way
waved at it.
Yeah.
It was like, look, you ain't even got to worry about, I'm not even worth the energy of trying to cancel because I'm already gone.
Right. But at the end of the day, now I understood what Kanye was saying. I was like, all right. He was like saying, well, Ticketmaster or whatever, Live Nation or whatever, was saying, all right, at first I just did 3 of these events, listening parties. I tried to get the 4th one scheduled. They going to tell me I can't get it until next year.
Oh, they change the rules on you all the time.
Yeah, because you popping too hard. And he made a lot of money.
He made a lot of money. They moved that goalpost, and he probably made that money up front. He probably did it in a way where he could block them out from getting that largest check. You know
and when what you're doing is so different and fearless again, right? The fear of the others that can control things, they change the rules.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I remember there were candidates forums that only Democrats were allowed to be in, but that hadn't been their format before until I was running as a Republican. It's like, word? Because the last election, we got Josh on here and he was green. Is it because I'm a Republican? Like, say that though.
Because you was you was in the bunker.
Say that.
I think
you was in the bunker and then you switched sides.
You're right. It was.
I didn't switch sides. I'm third generation Republican.
Okay,
I was on the front page of the Sun with Ronald Reagan in 1984 dedicating the Columbus statue. What we talking about? I mean, the nigga I always been.
Damn.
Interesting. But I also think that the last time it was just such a stacked field that they didn't want to muddy the waters any more than it already was. Especially coming off.
You giving the benefit of the doubt
I
to
am
some
giving
niggas I know.
Sorry,
you
all right, Catalina, you're not going to drag me into this politics. All right? Look, we can't here to talk about Kanye. You know what I'm saying? But you wasn't
political.
It is political, but
to a degree.
Yeah,
Kanye
like we not. Yeah. And at the end of the day, the moment you want to step back in and have an opinion or make your presence felt, you can, and people are going to move to the side and let you speak your piece. Period.
Don't worry, I'm not coming back.
We don't know. So, Yadi, how did you feel about the canceling conversation?
I mean, in the context of Kanye, people just wanted him to shut up, more or less, not cancel him. He's almost immutable. We learned that a long time ago. Because, and again, the things that you love about him and the things that you hate about him. He was our man when he said George Bush don't care about black people, right? He was our man when he disrespected Taylor Swift or said Beyonce had the greatest video of all time. right? As soon as he gets on stage or on a platform and says something adverse to our community, he then becomes our enemy, and that's just not how things.
But
Things
what
are
did
not
he
black
say
and
that
white.
was adverse to our community?
Slavery was a choice. That was the big one.
See what I said? What I say before y'all got here?
Slavery was a choice.
I don't speak on Kanye in snippets and sound bites. I go back and get the full context.
All right.
Oh no!
What's
I mean,
the rest of
was,
that sentence?
What was the rest of that sentence?
Exactly.
I don't know, because when you say slavery
You
is a
gonna look
choice,
it
it's
up?
like
You took the part they wanted you to hold on to dismiss everything else he said. Go look it up, and when you do, inbox me.
Got you. So moving on.
Okay. I mean,
That's how it works. That's exactly what he's talking about. Like, that's the programming. You really think that's what he said, and that's the entirety of it.
I'm not taking it at face value. I'm just saying
You just
that,
did though.
I'm just saying that's no. You asked what did he say that was? You asked the
Adverse
question.
to black people.
I'm speaking to the language that he used, not necessarily my
You
opinion
need the
on the
whole
language.
context. You need the whole context.
But that was the thing that was. Well, you asked what was trying to get. Why were we trying to cancel him, or why were they trying to cancel him? I'm telling you, it's because of that sentence. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So with that being said, because yeah, this is deep.
It is.
It's deep. So she's right, but even using it as even as using it as a template to a greater discussion, I feel like I understand people being gaslit. You know what I mean? Because everybody's out here so freaking sensitive. And they get,
mama, you ain't got sense.
I'm trying not to. Well, I'm trying not to do it in general because I try not to. I try not to make my whole podcast curse words. So like, you know what I mean. Try to utilize my adult language. You know, the older you get. You know what I mean.
10 years it's been for you.
15 years in April, sir.
15,
yeah, don't cut a good portion of my life out. So I feel like the reason why canceling exists are for those people who are scared to speak up. The ones who are scared to stand on their own. They scared to have their own opinion and wish they had somebody that wish they could be that person. So you mad at this nigga because he got his own opinion and that he's willing to stand out here and say something, whether it's crazy or not crazy, and lob it out there and not care how y'all feel about it. I feel like there are a lot of people out here that's mad because we live without caring about them. Yo, and this is gonna be crazy and it may not connect with the whole story, but I'm feeling this and I'm saying it. Like I tell my girlfriend all the time, yo, I don't. If I deal with somebody one day, or say if I have a one night stand with a young lady, if I don't care about her, she can go outside and get hit by a car and it wouldn't matter to me. And she like flips out over that. Why do you care? If you never see that person ever again, why does it matter whether that person lives or dies or what happens to that individual? If you don't care, you don't care. If you care, you care. Okay. If you don't care, you don't care. So at the end of the day, the reason why I can live like this and I cannot judge Kanye, because if it ain't my business, I don't care about it. And it doesn't upset me what he says or how he says it. That's his business. What he want to say, that's on him. He a grown man. As long as what he doing is not directly affecting me getting money and whatever's going on, yo, everybody has that opinion. Now, if we doing business together and I'm in business with Kanye and his words are affecting our ability to make money, then I'm gonna have a statement to him, probably behind closed doors, a direct phone call, and I'm gonna make my statement. I'm going to reach out to that person and request, hey, bro, can we edit how we talk because this is affecting our money. Now, if at that point you want to continue down that road, then I will separate myself. But I'll be very clear about, hey, it's not his opinions, it's how the public is reacting to this opinion. Then I'm having to separate myself on that. And I got kids I got to feed, or hey, I got rent I got to pay, or however we want to do it. But go ahead. Because that's just how I approach the world.
Yeah, and that is your lived experience, and you're right. But the reason you care is because it's still another human being, right? So
really?
It don't matter if they part of your pocket or not. Like,
really?
You should want the better well-being for all humanity.
I'm gonna stand with that too.
But
for a different reason.
You guys are so
great. But the other side of it is the reason you should care what's happening to Kanye, whether you in business with him or not, because you another black man in the same industry.
That's a fact.
And if we ain't watching what we let them do to him and how they censor him,
because it can trickle down.
Stop it from happening.
That's
to
a fact.
you.
There is a trickle down effect.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's why we supposed to care collectively, because if they get away with it on one, it sets the precedent to do it to the rest of us. But if we stand and say, nah, that's not acceptable.
Yeah, and let's back this out. Let's back this camera out a little bit because cancel culture isn't new. We just gave it a title.
That's a fact.
Right? We don't got to go too far back. Civil rights movement. Half of black people hated Dr. Martin Luther King.
That's a fact.
So if he didn't stay in the fight, we wouldn't have seen some of the progress that we have today, correct?
And also half of the black people hated Malcolm X.
Yeah. So, there's
feel
always
like
an adverse opinion to somebody with some power.
That's a fact. I feel like black people, I hate the fact that we speak about our culture as we're a monolith, like we're ever gonna agree on one thing, because we're never.
You mean like we all gonna be Democrats?
No, shut up. No, we're not. And we don't have to be.
No shit, Sherlock.
Right? We don't have to be. But I also want to
I hate niggas. But go ahead.
Like, if I was alive
and also want to echo the words
That's a fact.
Dr. Eric Dyson.
Jesus.
When he asked, so it's like, what did he say? That was just so fascinating. Kanye is a genius. And again, the same things you love, the same things that you hate.
Right.
But what has he done? Right?
As far as what?
Like
bad?
action wise. What has he done? Because every time
acting his own self-interest. I mean, I feel
that, right?
What's wrong with that?
And that's what I'm saying. Has he abused anybody?
He married that white woman.
Oh Lord. Has he abused anybody?
No.
He's a father.
Yes, he is.
You know what I mean? Christian.
I mean,
so
maybe.
It's like,
maybe.
Is
maybe.
It?
The last 2 albums are gospel albums. What are you talking about?
Are you sure?
Yeah, they definitely.
He said on his own mouth he's not even making secular music anymore.
Yeah, they're definitely gospel albums.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus is King knocks too.
It does, and it went platinum.
You feel me?
It went platinum.
Why are you coming down on me? I'm just asking questions. I don't know.
So I
stopped listening.
Careful.
I stopped listening to Kanye after Life of Pablo. It was a wrap for me. After that, I'm done.
That's where you drew the line?
Yeah.
So sad.
That's the moment when I was like, man, this career is over. Like,
But it wasn't.
Dog him, and you were so
Man.
wrong.
But it wasn't. He then went on to become a billionaire. So I don't know.
See, here we go again. Y'all keep trying to cancel me on my own show, and I will not let it happen. I can have my opinion. There is a point where you realize that the relationship is over, and y'all need to go y'all separate ways. I wish no negative malice upon him or her or whom, any individual.
Right.
Now, if he gets hit by a car, I don't really care either. But at the end of the day, it's over. So it is what it is.
Everybody has the right to withdraw support from anyone.
I didn't withdraw my support. I'm doing a whole podcast based on him right now. Well, so obviously I'm supporting him because I love what he's saying. But as far as music, I've tapped out.
Okay.
I'm out. Thank you.
You've missed some great music.
You did miss some great music.
Yo, Jesus is King has one of my favorite songs ever. Like, who the hell puts the Clips and Kenny G together?
Yeah.
What?
Even got,
you know what I'm saying?
Now I gotta go back and listen to it. Ain't nobody never say that it was a song with the Clips and Kenny G.
And it's so
Jesus is King.
That's insane.
And Jesus is King is Donda without features.
Yep.
This is the same album. It's just that Donda has features.
And if you go play one back to back, like you don't even...
You can't tell the difference.
It's no transition.
At all.
It's just a vibe.
Yeah.
It's a whole vibe.
It's the same album, just that Donda has features. And that's why Donda's going to perform better than Jesus is King, which is wild because, again, Jesus is King went platinum in the streaming era. That is hard.
Yes.
It's very hard.
Drake doesn't.
But Drake is a phenom. You know what I mean? But to that point, Lupe just went gold on his first album. That album been out for 10 years.
Okay, so I want to move this along. I'm sorry. Now, is there anything y'all felt critically important that y'all want to drop about canceling to clarify any points or make sure everything's good? Y'all cool. You're comfortable. You're good.
Nah, cancel culture.
All right,
it's
so
phony.
I love it. I'm above it.
All right, that's a fact.
That's a bar.
That definitely is a bar. First of all, I would like to say, if you haven't watched the Kanye West interview, he drops literal bars the entire podcast. Like,
in the name drops,
I love that.
My nerves. Like, I think that's he just got.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm
like,
not though,
because I hate it. Because people do that to me. Like, well, you got to keep name drop. I mean, like, yo, nigga, that's my life. I'm around these people.
Yeah, and because that's one of those things. Like, man,
like she dropped the mayor's name, and like that's my homeboy. I'm not gonna be like, damn, yo, you gotta be name dropping on here, yo, damn, my nigga.
Right.
Like, yo, these are the people she fucking hangs with. Like,
when you reach a certain stats, like that's just the people that you know.
Like, I was like, yo, I was with Moose, and we did this with. Oh, you drop it because now you a real nigga. Like, no, nigga, these are niggas I be around.
And there's two different kinds of name dropping. Some people name drop trying to used it as currency.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? He wasn't gaining nothing from saying it. He just like, these people I do business.
Right.
These people I hang with.
Facts. So Owing Beanie Sigel money, I thought was a huge moment. I feel like this is a defining factor of what makes Kanye West different as a man from 99.9% of people out here. Bro, Kanye doesn't have to give, let's be clear about something. He don't have to do shit for Beanie Sigel.
At all.
On a business level and on a effed up American level, because the way America goes, well, if you don't hold me to it, or if you don't trademark before I trademark it, then screw you and I'm gonna get this money. Yeah. But him being a real man, and this is where I love Kanye, is that, bro, he came up with the idea. I owe him.
Yeah.
He helped me, whether it's just an idea. You came up with Yeezy. Now, I might have taken it and done something with it, but I'm at least gonna not only acknowledge you, but I'm gonna compensate you for what you've given me.
Right.
He sees the value in everything, and not only is that's an amazing element, number one, but number two, I'm gonna compensate you for what I see is valuable. So the Yeezy thing was dope. Now the other component of that goes back to everybody's stories that they've always said about Kanye. Hey, dude, you could have been the dude sweeping the floor, but if you spit like a bar or something, they're going to be like, yo, we're going to set up a publishing company for you. We're going to give you a piece of this record because you just did something. To me, that's him trying to correct or right what he's seen been negatively done, whether to him or to the entire industry from the beginning. Why are people still trying to dog him out? Like, all right, like the whole argument about Big Sean not getting his masters back and this and that and the third. Is that Kanye specifically, or is that a Def Jam thing? Because if he's been constantly giving you opportunities to change your life, which was an argument that was a statement that he made, bro, I changed your life and your family's life. Can I just get my respect for doing that? And then let's get into the fact that there's nothing Big Sean could have done around him that he would have stolen from you and not given you if there was something, if he had the right to do it.
Yeah.
And for him to even admit that, bro, I'm not signing people to me. I'm signing people to a larger organism, and I'm just overseeing the production of it. I'm at the end of the day, Kanye is a producer. He's just producing. Yeah. So like, yo, like
they gave the greatest creator on the planet of Earth his dream team.
Right.
His dream team.
Right.
Because I mean, Jay was gone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Did Jay-Z give Dame Dash a piece of Rock Nation?
Right.
Did it?
No.
Because he got Rock Nation from Rockefeller. That's a business they started together.
Right.
Dame got enough from Rockefeller.
Right. I mean, he might would have tried to swoop in Wale, but Wale was already with MMG. You know what I mean? So he put together his dream team. And that dream team was wildly successful for a long time, and still could be even more successful if they just was active, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day,
why he's mad at Sean is it is what it is.
I feel it's justifiable because it's a relationship thing.
It's a relationship.
Bro.
It's a way you go about it. Even if you don't support that move, it's a way you go about saying you don't support.
Look, let me tell you like this, bro. You know Lamont from around the corner, the block you lived on, right?
Yeah.
I didn't owe that nigga nothing, bro. But because we started out producing together, when I was producing, and they called me to go to Atlanta, and I was getting paid $1,000 a beat, and I got to do 5 beats, I took him with me. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And I gave him half of my money. I didn't have to do that. He got like damn near $2,000 off of me. Now, ask me what he's done for me ever. Since before or after that. Never. But that's the type of nigga people are. I mean, and I'm not trying to say that to dog him out or any other individual. I'm saying that there's a type of person, if I feel like a nigga is old, if I feel like if we together, we together.
I'm so thankful I'm on camera.
I'm gonna rock with you regardless.
Ain't no way.
It's the same way you see, I will never gonna hear me mention BBC Radio and not mention Will. Or not mention certain people. They been here with me from the beginning, bro. When I didn't have nothing. When I had shit, I was making sure that they got taken care of. Yeah. Any opportunities, any dollars that could be split, any free, whatever. If I had a bottle, he got half of it. Like, if I had a section, he was... Now, most of the time, my homeboy ain't want to partake in none of it. But at the end of the day, like, yo, it's all about... To me, the difference is the choices you make when you don't have to make them.
Absolutely.
Big Sean could have kept quiet. Or have moved on, or could have said, yo, Kanye is the man. That's my dog. I may not agree with what he's saying, but look, I'm standing with him regardless. Whatever, that's my dog. That's all you had to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. But all of that extra stuff that was done wasn't necessary. So to me, it's like, if I've done all of this to change your life, the least you could do is stay silent. The least you could do is not dog me out publicly.
Or frame the conversation outside of, that man got this going on, but this is what I'd rather do. right? It's a way to do it. It's a way to go about it.
Go
It's
ahead,
a way
Catalina.
to-
Say it. You got to get it out your
It's
system.
a way
man.
to
Don't sit here and not say
professionally
nothing.
disagree with your colleague, your peer, your mentor.
The person that changed your life. This is not just somebody y'all. It's not like you just got hired into a company and like nigga, he plucked you out of obscurity and made you who you are. For both John Legend and Kanye is directly responsible for their existence in this business, and everything that they are is by his design. Because to be honest with you, I love Big Sean as an Aries, but I've never been a Big Sean fan musically. The only respect I've ever had for him was based off of his association. That's it, bro.
Rap. Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not. Did I not say that? I didn't say he couldn't rap. I didn't say that.
Don't do that. Don't do it like that.
Pull up his playlist out here. I don't know what you listen to.
Y'all don't want my playlist.
I don't.
Real niggas. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway.
You stupid.
All right. Move on. Go ahead, Catalina. Say what you gonna say, cause she over here being biting her tip, biting her lip, whole nine.
Hey, bro, just got here. I've been talking. I was trying, share the mic.
Cool.
Man, forget him. He ain't nobody.
Ye referenced the idea of a kibbutz in the interview, right? And that's just about how living together. I did some work with some developers in Park Heights, I guess at this point about 10 years ago now. And, Park Heights is us and it's Jews, right?
Yeah. Facts.
And so a lot of times in our community, we say that we as a community should be more like the Jewish community. We immediately they get offended. We ain't gotta be like the Jews. The Jews ain't go through the same thing we went through. It's not about being like the Jews. It's about learning from the practices. Like Jay was saying, there's not more of them, but they've understood they leverage. Exactly. Right?
Yeah,
One of the greatest lessons I learned from a Jew that I know, he said, we don't argue in mixed company. I'll not show up to the board meeting and you won't have a quorum, but I'm not going to be outside talking about that. We don't discuss business like that. And so that's what Ye was saying when he was like, when Jay do Jay shit and Ye do Ye shit, we don't say shit. How hard is it just to shut up?
Yeah. That's a fair.
Because
and I hear that.
When we fighting amongst ourselves, what you think that look like to white folks?
It looks crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, and it also add on to the thing where we were saying Beanie Sigel, the whole I owe Beanie Sigel. This goes into the other component I don't feel like people really understand when he was like, I don't read well and I don't do math well. But I shouldn't have to if I'm doing my responsibility as a man, meaning that I'm making sure that you're taken care of and compensated for anything you're owed. You should make sure I'm taken care of and compensated for anything that I am owed.
I took that different. I took that as in the village, we all got different skill sets. He's saying Biggs can read contracts real well. That's Biggs' thing.
Right.
I don't have to be able to do that because what I do well, I'm the only person in the village that does it this way. So take my team for instance. I can't graphic design nothing, right? But inside of my squad, there's people that have that ability that can go on Canva and make me a flyer that would have took me 2 weeks and a whole bunch of YouTube tutorials. You know what I'm saying? Like build your village in your community around your skill set. Everybody ain't gotta be able to do the same thing.
That I agree with, and that's definitely the point. But the greater point I'm trying to make is that you should be able to trust me in this village. There should be an ultimate trust within that village that I'm not gonna take from you, and you're not gonna take from me. I'm saying in a negative way.
Right.
There should be a trust level in the community that, so that I can focus on me. That I can't read that well, but I trust you that you're not going to do me dirty on this paperwork just because I can't understand the paperwork. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And hey, vice versa. I'm not going to do you dirty when I make these records and say something that you may not understand, but somebody else can understand that might be disrespectful for you. Hey, we're not going to be in a studio session chilling and you come up with something dope and I'm going to be like, and I walk out because I know how to leverage what you just said, but you don't know how to leverage. So now I'm going to take it and make billions, but I'm not going to give you nothing out of it. Yeah. So there's multiple levels that I took out of that discussion, meaning that, not only should we have our community where we should respect and love people for our differences and our skill sets, but we should also learn to operate a certain way so that there is trust and comfortability.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that this community stays a community and it stays connected and it grows healthily to where the graphic designer can be making just as much as the head person that's in front of the camera. Yeah. We all should be eating. It shouldn't be one person that's making $2 and then there's other dude making $200 and then he's struggling, but you doing real good and you looking down on him because you feel like he need to develop a whole bunch of skills.
And I guess part of that programming PC was talking about, right, was that like black people get a little bit of success and then we automatically want to make ourselves adjacent to the white folks. Instead of reaching back, right? Like how many of us experienced in our own families, you make it out, not saying you make it out, but you make some bread while you living in the city and then you realize, all right, I don't like X, Y, and Z that's going on in the city, so I'm gonna just jump to the county. Like it's that much better. That's the type of stuff that we had to stop doing, right? Because then we get angry when Joe Blow from New York City or Mr. Yo from Chicago come in and buy half of downtown or half of Sandtown or half of any district in the city and now we can't afford it.
Of course.
So that I think that point that he's making there is like, man, I just want this community of powerful men to come together and fix our own collectives and make bigger collectives so that we can benefit our community.
Also, I think that we still got a long way to go in understanding the intellectual property. There would have been no way Beans could have sued him for that money. What he was saying was that you gave me a name that I'm about to take public and trade it, and I want it's an example and compensation for intellectual property, which is intangible.
That's an incredible amount of foresight.
And it's an amazing amount. It's a lesson in it, right? Because we give out intellectual property. Jay say it all the time. We drive the culture. How many artists we've seen that, like they got copied by a Fashion Nova or a Shin or, what I'm saying, or Talbots, and it was really an African artist. We've been being robbed of our ideas for the entirety of our existence. And Ye saying, like, even to the point where he doesn't do business the way we see business. He like, look, I'm going to just pay you the whole salary. I'm not about to sit here and figure out withholdings, all that. Because the more I got to think about how to deal with this one thing with you, that's 25 things that I can't think about now. Right? I'm just going to wire you this money. And here's the faith part. You already got the bread. That's so whether you deliver or not,
that's on you.
That's on you. But I'm still out the money. And I've already decided, my grandmother used to say, don't loan nobody no money you can't afford to not get back. I'm just going to pay that contract. Prayerfully, you're going to be a person of your word and do the work or whatever have you. But if you don't, I still paid you. I kept my word. Beans created some intellectual property for him that he understands the value of. But here's the other thing about people don't see sometimes. Ye don't smoke, right?
And he smoked on that.
But Smoke Champs is one of Nori and EFM businesses.
That's
him
a fact.
that clip of him hitting it twice, price went up.
Facts.
Oh, for sure.
Fat Joe said
You
that
see what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
Price went up.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Every time they bring a specific type of liquor, if you notice, if they don't have a contract or some type of understanding with the distributor, the bottle was covered. You don't know what they drink.
The only person they give a break to is Diddy and Ciroc. But everybody else got to pay.
And Ace of Spades.
Ace of Spades, that black one? Okay.
That's Jay-Z's.
Oh, God, I forgot. Yeah. He keeps dropping it. Yeah, I keep forgetting.
Catalina, you want to stop with
I forgot.
You put this guy on the other side of me. I didn't know it was going to come out. I don't know.
Nobody drink champagne.
If we all,
Clearly, I ain't buying bottles of
if we
Aces
all
out
the
here.
same, it doesn't make a good podcast. Let me tell you like right
I
now.
spent a bottle of Aces on daycare a week. I can't afford Aces right now.
But, I mean, it's just the little things like that. Like, just including somebody in something or participating in something that you know is your people's brand. It carries it further when you know your presence is a present. It ain't just anybody that hit the Smoke Champs blunt.
Fact.
Yay.
In fact,
Hit that
just Ye's name being on that show, good God. Drink Champs is
went up.
already up. Now
Price went
everybody's going to watch the other 285 episodes.
crazy.
190,000 hours.
I'm really happy that Wale's episode came the week before Ye's. Cause
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Wale's episode was fire.
I hated it.
Wale was stop. No,
hated
no, Catalina.
I hated
No.
I
Because
hated it.
let me tell you why. There's only one reason why. Because he drank Nori under the table.
He did.
Nori tapped out literally and walked off screen, and that was the end of the podcast. And Wale was like, "What's going on?" Like, nigga, I thought we was doing this. Like,
That's funny.
that was it. Now, there was a bunch of other elements, but that was one of the greatest things. I was like, wow, that's such a nuanced thing that nobody really understands. Like, he kept. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. We talking about Kanye right now. But Catalina, I'll fuss with you off camera about that. Don't do that.
Hated it.
Why? All right, tell me why. Now I got to know why. Why?
Caveat.
I used to think I just ain't like him because I was holding a grudge about his Artscape appearance in 2011. But then I realized I really just don't like DC niggas.
Oh.
And then I felt like he was wild disrespectful to the platform. Like, yo, Like, who you texting that's so important, right? That you constantly on your phone. You can't make eye contact with Nori. The man asks you to take your glasses off. You won't take your glasses off. Like, it's just some real suspect, like, low-key shade to a man that's your OG for real. You don't get to sit in a platform like James Tramps if it ain't no Nori and Capone. Like, come on. He was disrespectful. You ain't see Ye act like that. Ye paid reverence to the space that he was in, show respect to his man whose platform it was. I didn't feel like
took a whole hook from him.
Yeah, took a whole hook from him, you know, but didn't disrespect him in his house. Right. I felt like Wale was wild. This his body language, his way he was answering questions, which questions he wouldn't answer, the half it. Y'all can have him. But
not y'all can have him.
In 2011. And y'all artists, so y'all know when you do Artscape, it's a family-friendly event. You sign a contract that agrees to do the clean version.
Right.
Yo jump up there, don't do the clean version. SRB shut it down. He gets mad and goes on Twitter and trashes our city for like a week. Called out SRB, all kinds of things that ain't the name her mama gave her. Like, disrespected us. Yeah, I love my city.
Okay,
I
so now
take stuff like that real
Because now that you
personal.
say that, I was in Iraq when he did that. So I was wondering like why I came home and everybody had all the smoke for Wale.
Yeah, because he went like it was so like nigga, you was the one that was wrong.
Yeah,
you signed the
now
contract.
It makes more
you
sense.
said you wasn't gonna cuss, and then you thought you was
Prince
I remember
or somebody
being at a college
party. Somebody played a Wale song. Nigga,
yeah,
man, I said, whoa, this song's fire. Like it's got more.
Nah,
I feel crazy supporting the man. Okay, now it makes sense.
I'm trying not to perpetuate
I'm over
DC
it. Like,
versus Baltimore beef.
Wale, we love you, dog.
Look, bro, it took me 20 years to get over the slouch socks and the hooping shorts, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I love DC. Wale, get it together, my nigga. Like, other than that,
and I listening to him talk, he does have like super high anxiety, and he does hate that individual camera time. Like the only time he feels at peace is when he on stage and stuff like that. Like
but that don't absolve you of being disrespectful.
But you know, and at some point you gotta get some media training or at least practice. Say practice.
All right.
Practice. But I mean, what was you talking about with Ye? Leave Wale alone.
This is the last thing, and then if there's anything y'all want to throw on the table, then we can shut it down. And I hope I'm not. I hated the fact that I'm kind of like pushing all of this stuff because I really wanted y'all to have y'all pieces too. But I'm glad y'all are speaking up. They didn't want to be Ye, or nobody wants Ye. That was the statement he made towards the end when he was talking about. He made a statement that. Man, Jay wanted some street shit, but I ended up giving him me, and it was that. And other people didn't want Ye, they wanted somebody more articulate. People didn't want Ye, they wanted somebody more amenable to their individual goals. People never wanted Ye. I thought that was like such a crazy thing. To where it's like he's giving you all of these examples of people that you would have thought they chose him and they wanted him around to be like, nah, he was the afterthought, but ended up being the greatest asset that these individuals ever had.
He wasn't anybody's first choice. That's what Colin Kaepernick said on that new Netflix spot he got on Black and White. Like he was never anybody's first choice, from his adoptive parents to the teams he played for, and he's very aware of that. And when you're not anybody's first choice ever, you're very, very aware of that, to the point that it can either become a complex for you or just something that you accept and just keep moving forward in your truth in the way that you, because if I'm your first choice or not, but you keep ending up having to come back to me. Am I wrong or you choosing wrong?
And that's a complicated even thing to think about. So like that, to me, it helps me understand why, whether he's conscious of it or unconscious of it, he's always selling himself. Yeah. That always, like, I'm having to prove myself, this constant. And I was like, watching that, the reason why that was so profound on me is because I still feel the same way. I was never anybody's first choice, but we end up having to prove ourselves over and over. And to me, the question comes down to, like, at what point do we stop questioning this nigga and just let him live?
Yeah.
And when do we stop? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when are humans gonna stop humaning?
Right. I mean, that's actually a question. It's a very fair question.
Oh, you thought that was funny, Catalina? That was sad. I'm about to cry out here because
you shut
that's
up.
Crazy. Did you just seriously?
No, man, because I think
because what you just said hurts. That's because it's real.
I'm about to say, listen.
I'm tired of you.
There's a point in history where this has happened before. So it's not like this is all new. Any experience that we experiencing is new. We just doing it all together. 40% of the world is interconnected now.
Just like I
so now
told
we can all see each other's stories in real time, all day, every day.
I was telling my girlfriend's son last week, and pretty much every week from the last 6 months that I've known her, is that he like always asking me, why do I have to go to school? I'm so sick and tired of school. I don't know why I need to be here. I was like, because you need to learn what used to happen so that you don't repeat the same things over again.
Yeah.
It's like these are all these experiences that you think are uniquely yours and brand new, and this just happened to you and it's never happened to you. The reality of it is it's happened before to a many other people. Mm-hmm. And if you could learn to avoid the mistakes that other people made, you could find a lot more success a lot faster. Yeah. And it seemed like he didn't understand anything I was saying. So
he's young. And children don't. Yes. I teach, so children don't understand these things. They not like tell my seniors all day. You need a plan past June 3rd because September 1, 2022 is going to come and it's going to smack you square in the face because you're not going to have a safety net that says, "Yo, go to school." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Go to lunch. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Did you do this? Did you do that? Now what you going to do?
Yo, you know what I mean? That is so serious, bro. Like the moment you are out of school and you are out of that structure. And every decision you make is now on you. That sucks.
And then
bro.
to Ye's point, right. And then
so I gotta figure this all out on my own now. Like everything, how I'm going to eat, where I'm going to sleep.
And then Ye, he said, "Yo, I'm nobody's first choice." And that was, if you know his career, you know his story, then you know like Jay didn't want him at first, right? Ninth Wonder didn't want to coach him at first, and then he turned out to be better than Ninth Wonder at some point. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where if you're not uniquely talented, like a Kanye West, you're not superior. You don't have any sort of superior intellect. You can't run fast. You can't jump high. You're not overtly stronger than everybody else. You need to develop a skill.
I know when he was in that part, he talked about like how people try to discredit things he said because they're well read, right? And I feel like in my time as a pundit, in that part of my career, it was always academics I was arguing with on air. Like, I come out of the field. I've worked campaigns. You live in a bubble of theory. Like, you went from being taught something to go teaching something that you've never applied.
Implemented. Mm-hmm.
Why are you so adamant, because you got all these letters behind your name, that your analysis is more poignant or more relevant than mine? When I've been the candidate. I've been the person next to the candidate. Like, you never even been out here. Mm-hmm. Do you know what time the polls open? Mm. Like, do you know how to identify an election judge? Do you know the difference between an election judge and an election watcher? Mm. Right? But people do that. So-called well-read people do the same thing to people who are willingly admit that they don't read that much. Like Kanye. You're not smarter than him because you read more books. He might be dyslexic, like my daughter. And that might not be how he learns. You know what I mean? Like,
but we know that's not how he learns.
Right.
We know that's not how he learns.
Mm-hmm. But epistemology teaches us that the study of how we learn, that all kinds of humans learn different ways. Yeah. Right? So she goes to a Montessori school because that motor skill-based curriculum suits where her needs is for how she absorbs information. Mm-hmm. Right? That cookie-cutter Common Core thing wasn't working.
Facts.
That it didn't work.
I learned the same way.
I'm so glad I'm a CTE teacher because I'm outside that spectrum too. I hate Common Core. I hate it.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, how you teaching English with no phonics?
You're correct.
There's no long vowel and
especially
and
if
short
somebody
vowel
that's graduated
sounds.
from college not once but twice. How you speak matters.
Right. You know?
Not just that you speak, how you speak.
But how you speak.
Matters.
But that sense, like, we could do a whole nother show on the isms inside of us that allow us to fight amongst ourselves so we can't be the collective that Kanye overall sees in his head. Yeah. And we'd have to break down the sexism, the ageism, the colorism, and the elitism.
So what you saying is you want to do a podcast?
Nah, I ain't say that.
God damn it. Come on, Catalina.
I am retired.
Yeah.
This is retirement.
I'm late for Sunday dinner because I came here with you.
We about to be, look, we done. I'm saying we can just come back next week and come in earlier.
I'm going to be in Mexico next week. Praise God.
I don't feel like she wants you to be here. But anyway, that was a joke. It might be serious, but it might be a joke.
Don't use me to take shots at him. Nah, hold your own gun, sir.
That's my man.
Nah. Hold your own gun.
That was cool.
Nah, he's my friend again when he put these numbers on my door.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Super facts. Thank y'all. I thank you so much, Catalina. I'm so happy you came.
So you didn't need me for real. She the star.
Nah.
Well, I locked you in first And then she just so happened to comment on the post I made. And she was like, yo, I'll come through. And when she said it, like when I seen her, I was like, oh yeah.
Man,
So like my cousin's grandmother's house is this house on the corner across the street. Like I grew up on this corner.
For real?
Like,
yo, she be doing wild house parties every year with the speakers up.
That's not our family anymore that owns that house.
Oh, okay,
like,
okay,
we don't
okay,
have
okay,
access
okay.
to it. But when I pulled up, I was like, You know, like she too young. She never had. My son has memories in it, but it was just like, yeah, this gonna be a vibe.
Yeah.
From the moment I pulled up.
I had a cousin that grew up around here too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, I grew up around here, but you know, whatever. We ain't got to do that. But I'm glad you came. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm on it. You know what I mean? You know I fuck with you. Come on, don't do that.
It ain't that serious.
You my nigga.
Before we leave the
it is that serious, Kelly. Stop. Yo,
I think
special.
if there's anything he said that's like jumping out at me that kind of made me upset. The 40 acres in the mule thing kind of made me upset.
Why?
Because if you understand American history, you know that land ownership is the thing that dictated political power when we first started as a country. So that's why they didn't want us to own land, so we didn't have any political power. It wasn't
but also so that we wouldn't be able to populate, like he said, because that would increase the voter block that they didn't want us to have.
But.
So he went and bought 12,000 acres.
He did buy 12,000 acres. I just wish into that now that it matters.
He bought
matters so much.
He bought 1,200 sheep.
Yeah. Me and my mom was talking about like stuff like that, like just farming in general. Like,
it's an ecosystem. Like the same people that'll tell you yo crazy, the same ones out here teaching survival skills because their grandparents must not have taught them how to garden and stuff, will come from the country. Yeah. Like they trying to live off the grid. They'll call him crazy and be out here working towards doing the same exact thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to them.
And I think part of the reason some of us think he's crazy is because black folks don't normally say these things out loud. We just know say it in closed spaces.
Free.
And I think that's he wants everybody just to speak with you.
Be free.
Which I'm with.
I've adjusted my thought process from like wanting a big ass house to wanting a farm.
Well, I've always wanted a big house on a farm.
And this is just me. I don't know about nobody else, but the older I get, the less space I need. Like when I was younger, I was like, I want a 7-bedroom house. Now that I'm like, bro, I'd be cool with 2 or 3 bedrooms.
Like one kid to do that to you.
2
like
kids.
I'm trying to manifest living at sea. I don't know if y'all watch Succession.
Oh, I will love that too.
But like, if you watch Succession, yeah, but I done already spoke abundance over my life. And
there you go.
I've asked the Lord for, He's provided.
Okay. Talk to him.
I don't have no reason to think
him.
it's going to change.
Okay.
And like, I watch Succession, and I like Logan Roy's yacht.
Yeah, that's
and,
fly.
And I want to live like that.
Yeah,
I want you, if you want to come through, you know, I'll tell you where to meet the chopper. Come on. We might be in Italy. We might be in Greece, you know, South Africa, wherever. But
I'm with it.
I really want to live at sea at this point. Like,
can I be your personal assistant? That's all. I ain't trying to be big with.
But no, I feel that because
as long as I get my little room.
Me and my wife and I, like I would say, our current trials. Not like we're going through stuff, it's just our overall situation. Just thinking about like what we've done to get us to this point and how we can make things better. It's like, that thing that I want, it ain't as far away as you think it is.
Right.
So like, let's just lock in. Let's go on this vacation that we spend way too much money on. Let's lock, then come back and let's lock in. You feel what I'm saying? And just chase that thing so that we can get it off our chest. You know what I mean? So that maybe we're free to like get more creative and build more shit.
Our own land that's been in my family for over 300 years. My daughter's named after the first female in our family on American soil. So like, I look at how like we made real issues political issues. Climate change is real. I don't really want no land no more because of how we've done the damage to the planet. That the natural disasters and the things that happen, my investment ain't the same investment if I'm gonna end up underwater.
I know.
But if sea level is rising and I'm already at sea, I'm rising with you.
All right, you know what? All right.
So,
that's not how they work.
Do you want to give out your social media, Catalina, or you ain't with
I mean, myself on every platform. I ain't never had all these aliases. That's why when you talk about me, you gotta talk about me.
That's a fact. Follow Catalina Byrd on all social media. She is definitely entertaining. That's the only thing I'm going to say with that.
She's fly. No, she's fly. Don't do that. Don't do that. She's fly.
I appreciate that because you just met me. Yeah, so I appreciate that.
She will incite, a lot of stuff going on. If she's not for the faint at heart. But I like them type of people though. Them the type of niggas I like though.
It's a refreshing opinion. It's like, everything is not what it seems, stupid.
Nah, it's not.
And even if you don't do what she do, at least listen so you can get some more information.
Perspective, bro.
Like
perspective.
Y'all say y'all want information, it's available.
Nah, they don't want information. They want you to agree with whatever they think.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy. But I'm used to all of my friends being, crazy. So Yeti,
Yeah,
you know what I
Yeti
mean?
underscore TTE.
There you go.
Everything.
And then your boy JS, the number one THASUPPLIER on all social media, Aries Lounge. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We'll check y'all next time. We out. Peace.